What is the season after the finals supposed to feel like? We'll talk a little bit about that with Locked On Suns host Ben Garcia and what the Pacers can learn about the Suns fall-ish after their finals loss in 2021. Plus, Pacers Suns tonight and so much more, all on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes and Circle City Spin. And today, Pacers play the Suns tonight. We talk about that game for like 5 seconds today. More importantly, the start of a series I want to do with many teams who have made the finals in this decade, the 2020s, talking about what the season after the finals should feel like and what the Pacers can learn from that as this season trudges on. Obviously, they're in a much different situation than basically every team who's lost or won the finals this decade. But B, what the Pacers can learn from what that team did after the finals. The Suns had a great one season after they lost to the Bucks and not so awesome ever since. Ben Garcia from Locked On Suns and I team up to talk about a lot of that stuff. Ben is very interesting in the way he talks about some of the Pacers' moves of the summer. And yet, I still thought very revealing the way he did it from a Suns lens today, which is what I wanted. I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to make this a series with many other teams, as we did talking with Locked On Bucks hosts about the injuries the Bucks had after their championship run. So expect more of these. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's just get right to it. The sky is falling in Indiana, and it is not falling in Phoenix. The Suns are 6-5. They're spunky. They're good. And we're not even really going to preview Pacers Suns. I want to do something different today, a series I want to do with many teams of this decade of the NBA to talk about what did the season after the finals feel like. We talked about with Justin Garcia of Locked On Bucks, ironically on the other side of the finals we're talking about today, how injured the Bucks were after their finals victory, and the Pacers obviously dealing with that side of a post-finals run this year. I did not think of this series until after the Pacers played the Mavs. So today, the 2021 finalists up 2-0, not to be the Phoenix Suns. I love that team. I wish Chris Paul had a ring. And Ben Garcia from Locked On Suns is here to, unfortunately, relive some memories, but tell us about them. Ben, before I make you do that, how are you? The Suns are fun. How about that?
I mean, they're kind of exactly what I expected. You know, people got mad at me. I don't really wear the fanboy cap very well. I'm more interested in actually players getting mad at me than me siding with them buddy. It's why Kevin Durant and I never really got along very well. But the Suns are exactly what I thought they'd be. Like, they're a little bit better than that maybe, but I told people this team is going to come in, play hard every single night, and what is going to happen is teams like Oklahoma or teams like the Spurs are going to walk into Phoenix, think they can play their B- game. Oh, it's the Pacers on a Tuesday. We can just roll over this team. Let's just play our B- game. We're all good. And then at the end of the game, they might beat the Suns or they might lose the Suns like the Spurs did. And it's going to be, what the hell just happened? That was supposed to be the fun game where we just kind of try out some stuff. But the thing I've been telling people is like, don't come into Phoenix or play Phoenix ready to play your B- C+ game, because you'll get your ass beat if you do. And that's what's happened over the last couple of weeks. Like, they're not amazing. They're not a finals team. They might not even be a playoff team, but they're definitely a play-in team at this point.
The Dylan Brooks team personality, you live and die by it. And the Suns are living it right now, man. They've got it. And we're not talking about that hardly at all today. Maybe a little at the end. Okay, I set the scene. 2021 happens. They get through the injured Lakers. Like, that's the time. You get the break. You get to the finals in a weird year, and you have a chance with a pretty loaded team, and you lose. What did the following season? So obviously already the Pacers are 1-10. Like, they are already approaching how many total losses the Suns had the season after. But what did that following season feel like to you, and how did it kind of ebb and flow after you get so close and they didn't win?
Yeah, it wasn't until after the 2022 season where I learned my lesson. But here's a lesson for Indiana sports in general, because I'm sure they've got a better fan base. Like, I'm sure everyone there is a Colts fan, and a Fever fan, a Pacers fan. Like, here in Arizona, you're a Suns fan probably, but you also probably like the Niners and you're a Dodger fan. Like it really is.
It's town, man. You know this.
And it's really frustrating, especially for people on my part, because for every person that like myself, who's an all Arizona sports guy, pray for me. There's not many like that. There's 10,000 other people are like, yeah, I like the Suns because they've been here the longest, but everything else is like, yeah, but I like the Steelers and I like the the Twins or some obscure franchises. I learned this post 2022. I took it for granted because the Suns didn't have a catastrophic injury like Tyrese Haliburton did. It's all fun and games in the playoffs. Like the Pacers were playing with house money last year. Once they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, even if they had lost it, I think Pacers fans would have said like, I mean, what are we, a player or two away from this team making the finals and winning a championship? Like you can only do the playing with house money gimmick for so long. And that's what the Suns were doing. The Suns were ahead of schedule in that 2021 year where they brought in Chris Paul and they won that first playoff series against the Lakers that if you mention Anthony Davis was injured, you also can say so was Chris Paul. But surprise, surprise, two guys who are always injured, Chris Paul and Anthony Davis. So it's kind of hard to do that as well. You know, you played the Nuggets without Jamal Murray. Like that is something. Now you got to get a little lucky. I think every team gets a little lucky getting to the championship.
Pacers, and then Pacers had that luck themselves, right? Obviously.
Yeah, and that's okay. Yeah. And that's okay. Can you capitalize on that luck?
Totally.
Western Conference Finals. Suns played the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. Granted, Chris Paul also got COVID for the first two games of that series, and they still beat them. It's all fun and games for the first couple of series. Once you get into the finals in any sport, Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals, you better win it when you're there. It's not we're just happy to be here. You know, we've got a good team. Like, let's just have some fun. I thought that way. And how stupid of a way it was for me to think of the 2021 Suns, because Arizona has not won a championship in any of their sports since 2001 in the Arizona Diamondbacks in their major men's sports here.
Shout out Luis Garcia.
Yeah, Luis Gonzalez, but it's all right.
Can you tell
Garcia would be me. No. So, like, here's the thing that Pacers fans have to learn. It's a really tough lesson to learn. When you get there, you have to win the damn thing. It's like the Diamondbacks in 2023. We were living off vibes here with that team. We're not a World Series team. They didn't even make the playoffs the next year. But they got there, and I told everyone, okay, we're here, better win it. They didn't. Everyone told me they'd be back. They were never back. It's a harsh lesson to learn. But like Tyrese Haliburton blows out an Achilles, which is like awful. And then you let Miles Turner walk. It was just the perfect storm to knock the Pacers out for a while. And yeah, man, like you run it. Here's another big flaw the Suns had. They ran it back with the same team in 2022. What the hell were you doing? Like you brought in JaVale McGee. That was your big acquisition to help with the bigs. And you had to realize that Devin Booker wasn't the superstar Luka Doncic is, and he stuffed you in the locker and ate your lunch. And so like, it's a harsh lesson to learn, but now Pacers fans know we get there, we got to win it. It's no more of this like idea of, well, we'll be back next year, because I can almost guarantee you won't. The Celtics won the championship. We all thought they were going back the next year. They didn't. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Oklahoma City Thunder won't make the finals because it's really freaking hard to win in these leagues. So you got to capitalize when you're there.
So many things. I think you're right about the city differences mattering because like the Pacers have been here since the 70s. The Colts have been here since the late 70s, early 80s. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. I'm not huge into football, obviously. You know, they're very proud of those two teams. The Fever have been here since the third season of WNBA history, and they obviously have become more popular recently. But in that time, the Colts won the Super Bowl. In my lifetime, that's it. But the Pacers made the finals before. They made it in 2000, post Jordan. Obviously, they couldn't quite beat him, but they were playing the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. And they
okay, neither could we.
Yes, as it goes. And they lose that series, and it's like, people talked about the late 90s Pacers as probably until last year the best Pacers team that ever existed, right? Reggie and all those guys. Jalen Rose was a spectacular playoff. Rick Smith was quite good, among many, many, many other great players. But they lost to Shaq and Kobe, and everybody thought that team might be good for a while. And then in 2004, they have another team that people say could have been the best ever, and then the brawl happens, and they never get back to there until Paul George comes around, and they didn't even make the finals with that team. Like, I think people here realize with the Colts losing to the Saints in the Super Bowl, the Pacers, many great teams that couldn't even get there, like what an opportunity it was. And especially when they get to leading at halftime of Game 7, like how painful that can be. The difference is, obviously, there was like a lockout around the time of their finals the first time, and they still were good. They still had Reggie Miller right after that. And I was, many of my listeners too, were not old enough to like many of them are. Like many of them were old enough to have remembered what 2001 felt like. But the season after is, in my opinion, even if you lose, it really hurts, especially when your star player, like you said, blows out his Achilles. It really hurts. But the following season is supposed to be a combination of like a feeling of revenge. Like, let's try to do this again, even though, like you said, it's very hard. I mean, how many of the last years people keep talking about no repeat champions in the NBA. There's very, very rarely been repeat finalists of late. Like, it's been a different team in each conference almost every year. It's really hard to get back. Like, you want to, it's going to be challenging. That's a part of it, but it's also supposed to be like a somewhat fun celebration of that team. And that's why you said the Suns ran it back, and it was, maybe not the best choice for them at the time. And like, it's one, I understand what you're saying, but it's also easier to say that in hindsight with the way that things have gone. Like, I would have thought in a way the Pacers running it back made good emotional sense. Like, people loved that last year team, loved it. They still love those players. Right now they stink. And so those players don't stink. The team stinks. And so I've always wondered, like, cause I was 4 when the Pacers made the finals the first time, and we didn't live in Indiana yet. My family didn't. So I didn't know anything about them or how it felt. And it's like, what is this supposed to be? This doesn't feel like to me what it's supposed to be. And then from there, the Suns had this awesome year where Luka knocks them out, and they kind of have not
turtle shelled.
Big Kevin Durant trade in the middle, obviously. What to you, beyond missing that emotion, were the missteps the Suns took in trying to get back there that should be or could be avoided by any other team that either made or lost in the finals? Everybody, quick break. We got to talk about 2 great groups of people. First up is Wayfair. The holiday season's right around the corner. That means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or a fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help make your space shine. The best part, you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. You can upgrade any room you like, your dining chairs, your rugs, and it will completely transform the room. You won't believe, how fast everything shifts just in time for the holidays. Browse their site. It's easy to find pieces that actually fit your style. If you've ever hosted family for the holidays, you know how much difference a few touches can make. Wayfair makes it easy. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to Wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. Let's also very quickly talk about BILT. As my computer decides to not open things, nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get some for it. That's where BILT comes in. They're changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards you can actually use when your rent goes through BILT. You earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But BILT isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding your entire neighborhood around you. BILT can really work for you. Make your money work better by redeeming points on something you already have to pay. Whether you're grabbing food at your local restaurant or heading to the gym, you're still earning rewards. BILT has made everyday living more rewarding. From your neighborhood to your travel plans, turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure to use that link so they know that we sent you.
The Kevin Durant trade, in hindsight, was obviously a bad idea, but it wasn't because they gave up Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. Like, dude, I can't tell you how much trouble I get in all the time reminding Suns fans who could be delusional at times, which a lot of fans are, is, man, if the Suns wouldn't have traded away Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, they would have been the dynasty right now. I'm like, oh, really? Because Luka Doncic firmly stuffed them in a locker single-handedly, I might add. He had Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson was not the player he was when Luka Doncic was there.
He was hooping, man. Brunson beating the Jazz by himself.
Well, yeah, exactly. In that playoff series, he was good. Luka comes back. It was the Luka Doncic show, and they didn't even have PJ Washington at that time. They didn't have kid from Duke, Derek Lively. Like, they didn't have a lot of different players. Like, it was not that great of a team. Obviously didn't have Kyrie Irving. It was a good team, and it was led by Luka, who's a freaking superhuman. But like, it's so frustrating. That team ran its course. And like, again, that's the other thing that I remind people is like, the Suns were good. They had chemistry. They were a very good team. Ball movement, good head coach, like all those things. But then I remind people, hey, listen, I'm not going against anyone. All I'm saying is these are the facts. They were up 2-1 on the Suns in the first round, and Anthony Davis gets hurt. Now Anthony Davis always gets hurt. That's the ticket that the Lakers signed up for. In round 2, they really just quadruple teamed Nikola Jokic and made Frank Campazzo try to beat them, and it didn't matter. You're like, who's Frank Campazzo? And I'm like, exactly. And then in the what?
Facundo Campazzo Stan right here. That guy could guard. He couldn't make a shot, but he could guard.
Yeah, he could guard unless Chris Paul was toying with him in the second round. And then in the third, like they didn't play Kawhi Leonard, and like the Suns didn't have Chris Paul. Like that's fine, but like the Suns got some breaks. That's why it's so important to win it when you get there, because you oftentimes catch breaks. But the biggest thing is, would I have traded Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson right now for Kevin Durant? Yeah, I'd do it yesterday because they're not changing anything. The Brooklyn Nets have already moved off of them. Cam Johnson has been traded already. Mikal Bridges has been traded from those teams. The biggest problem was going after Bradley Beal. But
actually, let me jump in. When I was really young, I was a Wizards fan. I think that was a great move for the Phoenix Suns.
No, so in hindsight, like let me finish here.
Great move.
I'm a bandwagon Florida Gators fan. So like I'm an ASU guy, true and true. I'm a graduate from there, but I'm a bandwagon Gator fan.
Sure.
I jumped on it with Tim Tebow. Like I firmly pronounce like I'm a bandwagon guy. I'm there when they win, not so much there when they lose. I was a big Bradley Beal guy. I was stoked for the deal. And here's the other thing. Like people love to throw out the trade that they gave up for Bradley Beal. They gave up nothing for Bradley Beal. Yeah. They gave up Chris Paul, who was 50, who wasn't the same player and didn't play with pace. He was part of the reason why they lost that Mavs series. They dared him to shoot and he wouldn't shoot. They gave up Landry Shamet, who Suns fans hated, who I disliked. And I couldn't even name you the third person they gave up to make salaries work.
I believe I just saw a graphic that Grayson Allen broke Landry Shamet's Suns record for threes in a game. And all the Suns fans were like, why are you posting this? I don't want to see that name.
And so, they hate Landry Shamet. Well, as they should. He was terrible.
He was pretty good.
Once they also traded a first round pick for Landry Shamet, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, they gave up. They gave up nothing for him. The problem was the contract, because what Suns fans like, the tunnel vision that they have, it was either the mid-level exception, or you trade for Bradley Beal. And at the time, like everyone liked it. But then we didn't realize that Bradley Beal might just be a good stats, bad team player, because anywhere he's went that has had aspirations for playoff basketball, terrible with the Suns, terrible with the Clippers. So I think it was that one. Like I'm not going to kill the Suns for it, because everyone, including myself, was like, yeah, I trade Chris Paul and Landry Shamet and a handful of pick swaps. And Tony, I mentioned this 3 years ago when that trade happened. I'm going to go out on a limb and say over the next 5 years, the Suns are going to be better than the Wizards. Is that crazy to say?
You don't dare disrespect Alex Sarr.
Okay, exactly. So
yeah, they're not very good. Right?
Exactly. So the pick swaps will never be exercised. The problem is they went into the second apron and it crippled them. Like they couldn't build a team around them. They got rid of DeAndre Ayton, but even worse than that, they traded Toumani Camara with him. And
you just said a lot of Pacers things, because the Pacers gave Ayton a bunch of money and they worked out Toumani Camara twice in the pre-draft cycle. Fans still.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I did not think Toumani Camara was going to be this good. I was like, yeah, take him, whatever. But he developed a jump shot, and now he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. Maybe it's because I'm not close to Dayton, Ohio, and you're a lot closer than I am. But I was like, yeah, let him go. Like, I'm okay with it. But like, that's where it is, man. Suns fans like to point out the DeAndre Ayton thing. Why did you trade him? I don't know, because after 1 year, they drafted his replacement, Donovan Clingan, and after 2 years, they said, we'll just pay you to leave. Golly, just leave. And then the Lakers have him, and like, yeah, he's been fine recently, but the DeAndre Ayton thing will rear its head eventually. But that's what it is, man. You spent too much money on those players and it didn't work out. And like, I appreciate the aggressive Suns swings. And here's the other thing that I think matters. Like, I do think morale matters, not as much as everyone thinks it does. Letting a tenured vet in Miles Turner walk, you can make fun of the Phoenix Suns, and I'll join you. I no one hates my teams more than I do. You can make fun of them. That would have never happened under Matt Ishbia. Letting Miles Turner walk, a tenured veteran, an 8-year guy that was there through thick and thin, and finally time to get paid, and they just let him walk. And I think when players see that, they're like, come on, man, we're this close and you're tearing us down. And when ownership doesn't have a commitment to winning, man, it's already hard to win in this league. When you don't have a commitment to your best players, that's tough. And I feel for Pacers fans there because we dealt with it for a long time in Robert Sarver, and we're still dealing with it with Diamondbacks Ken Kendrick and Michael Bidwell in the Arizona Cardinals. So that one was tough, man.
I think every Pacers fan is going to hate your characterization of that because half of them think Miles Turner was super overrated. He sucked in the finals. They should have let him go. And the other half were like, well, he was great, but there was nothing they could do about the way they went. They tried to negotiate hard, and the Bucks just came in. And like the reality is always somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. I think there's some very poorly leaked offers about what the Pacers offered. I don't know that I believe them necessarily. I think it's probably higher than that. But regardless, they like wanted to have him. They were
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
But they were too low. Yes, obviously. Or else he'd be on the team.
Exactly. And that's the point. It's just like, if you're off by a couple million, sign the guy. Like, you have a good team. You did have a good team there.
That's the problem is like this does happen in free agency where the Bucks were like, you have to take this now or you can't have this at all. Like, you can't negotiate any further when that happens.
And he did what's best for him.
To reply to about your general post-finals Suns things because it's kind of the crux of what I'm thinking about. None of the team, I'm just going to talk about the 2020s, but none of the teams since KD got hurt, which was not in the 2020s in the finals, have had an injury like the Pacers have had in the finals. What they've had is very different scenarios. The Suns, post their finals run, this is over a several year period to be clear, but ownership change, KD, Beal, lots of stuff. Ayton's big like lots of stuff has happened to the Phoenix Suns. The starting five's out. Go watch it if you want to learn more about it. Right? A lot happened there. The Pacers are not an ownership change happening, right? The Celtics make it right back and win, right? They stuck with their team. No injuries, to be clear. Made a few tweaks, made it right back. The Heat made it back again, and albeit a couple years later, lost again. And in the middle had like some crappy 8 seed years, and they had the 1 seed year that went horrible because Jimmy Butler got hurt. And the Mavs I don't even want to, do I even need to talk about what happened to the Mavs after the finals? So some teams, it goes great because there's like more stability to me. The Heat, the Celtics, the Warriors have kind of had stability, but they haven't really done a lot with it. And then there's some teams that just have a ton of change thinking they're that close to get back and they can't. And there's yet to be a team this decade, to be clear, the Warriors lost in 2019, made changes, and then made it back. That was like, we lost. We have to go change a bunch of things to try to win. And it worked for them because of what you said. It's hard to do. Like, it's really hard to get there. You have to seize the opportunity when you have it. One more break here, guys. We can talk about FanDuel. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even continue your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I'm not saying the Suns are like a lesson because their situation is so unique. New ownership happens so rarely in the NBA. Kevin Durant becomes available. Well, I guess, bad example. I was about to say guys like Kevin Durant don't become available very often, but Kevin Durant is available very often. Kevin Durant.
That'll tell you a lot about KD, by the way. Not a big fan of me.
You understand? I hope people
question his leadership.
I was going for there. So it's really interesting post finals how I think teams should think about it because they know they have a blueprint that gets you very close or all the way there. it's got to be so tempted to be like, gosh, we're half away. Like, what can we do to get a half a game better? When like it's not that simple, but continuity still matters quite a bit. And the Suns are, I hate to say this, because they were really good. They won 64 games the year after they made it. That's amazing. That'd be the best Pacers regular season ever, right? That's really good. But then they lost in the second round. Like, it's really hard. And it's hard to be patient when, like you said, you've tasted the top. You've been in the finals and you lost, and that really, really hurts. And so balancing that painful emotion with tweaks to your roster that have happened since, but also wanting to be back is really hard for fans, for people who work for the team, for players on the team. And that's what I think post-finals is fascinating about the Pacers, is how they handle all of that. Do they want, like, how do they, especially in the year they're having with no Tyrese Haliburton, like being sellers is stupid. They're 1-10, and I'm already going to have to tell fans, like, guys, selling off talent makes no sense, because having these guys on the team when Tyrese Haliburton is back should be the goal. So how do you manage that, all this, like, malaise of losing the championship and then being bad, with also noticing that keeping your team together has boded well for even teams that have lost in the finals, like very recently. Like, you could date back even farther than what I just said. And so that's why I want, like, you're being very helpful. And there will be lots of shows like this with teams that have made the finals this decade of, what is the best path and what does not work and what should it feel like? Because blending all those together is really hard. And every team's going to be unique. The Pacers already don't have their starting center. Their starting point guards out for the season. I get it. It's going to be different for everybody, but that's what I am just so endlessly curious about 11 games into this season for the Pacers, is how close is this to what it's supposed to feel like for them? It's going to be different without Haliburton. And what have they learned from other teams? And I think that pending their ability to get a starting center by the time Haliburton is back, I actually kind of like their idea of keeping it together, even though it's not going to be fun. It's going to suck for the year.
Can I ask Pacers fans this? And I'm not asking, I'm just going to do it because this is my show now. This is officially Locked On Suns.
Oh, good.
Take it from me, a perpetually sad Arizona sports fan who's had legitimately nothing to root for. Cardinals are terrible. The Diamondbacks haven't made the playoffs since that fluke World Series run. The Suns went 10 years without a playoff run, and then they went to the NBA Finals, and then they went to the second round, and then since then, they've just kind of been everyone's butt of jokes. Is it really that bad to be terrible for 1 year? I mean, there's a kid at AJ at BYU. Like,
over half of the people listening to this podcast are going to be like fist pumping that you just said that. Like, I see AJ advance games every single day.
Listen, and it's not saying you're going to get him, right? Let's say you don't. In fact, it's actually very likely you won't get him.
Yeah.
Let's say you get a top 5 pick. I'm not a doctor, obviously. I would let Tyrese Haliburton take the entirety of this season to get healthy. I ain't trying to mess with that Achilles again, man. Like, I'm not trying to, no shot. Like, let that guy get 100% healthy and more. Let's say you don't get, AJ from BYU, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce last name.
I said Luis Garcia. You can butcher a name. It's okay.
Yeah, I know it starts with a D. Like, that's like, I'm not going to try to do the rest of it. But let's say you don't get him. You probably don't. Let's say you get a top 5 pick. Well, do you know what's very desirable to teams that are looking to sell off talent? Picks. And the Pacers aren't that far away. They just had really crappy luck. This season should be about whatever young guys you have, developing them and looking towards the draft, knowing you're going to get like a top 5 pick at worst, maybe 6th. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You either draft, trust your scouting, and to me, the Pacers seem like they have some pretty good scouting. Drafted Nembhard, drafted Turner. You traded for Pascal Siakam. Like, you didn't give up everything. You still have picks to go now. Like, draft the guy you want and then move that pick to go get another good player alongside Tyrese Haliburton. Because you know what trumps 2 first-round picks from, I don't know, the Celtics? 1 first-round pick that is a for sure top 5 pick. And then if you don't like that, then you just go draft a guy and you work it out there. Like, it's not that bad. And it's not like the East is going to get incredibly great overnight. The Eastern Conference is going to be bad next year too. 2 years from now, who knows what happens. But it's Giannis and a whole lot of crossing your fingers. Like, the Knicks are running it back again with the Nova Knicks, and it hasn't worked for 3 straight seasons. But this year, you're like, I mean, I don't know. maybe it could work out because the Eastern Conference is so bad. Like, it seems bad, but it really isn't that bad. It can get turned around very quickly. And just like how the Suns have Devin Booker, you always have Tyrese Haliburton. And thankfully, as thankfully as this can go, like, he tore his Achilles when he was 24, 25. He's going to heal back right and hopefully come back better than ever, just like Jason Tatum and, hopefully will. And then Kevin Durant did. It's like, it's not all bad times in Indiana. It's not all bad times. It's just a crappy moment in time for the Pacers.
It's bad that in a celebratory season, it is not celebratory. They were just floundering around trying to get on track. They'll try to do so tonight. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, is it negative 50 there yet?
It did snow this week.
Oh my God. That is terrible. When people tell me,
go ahead.
I just when people are like, oh, well, you live in Phoenix. What is it, 110 still? I'm like, maybe, but I've never had to shovel out my driveway to back out. Like, that sounds terrible. Just awful. I went to Minnesota last year for Cardinals Vikings on December 1st of last year. I didn't know the cold could hurt. Freaking hurt, man. Anyways, sorry. That's the one thing about those cold weather seasons. I don't know how you guys do it.
I have a hunch that my listeners are going to laugh at you for that one. 30 degrees because is not cold.
My brother.
You just put on some sleeves.
What is it right now? Let me check my watch. It is
where you are.
76. Right? It is 76 degrees outside. 10 degrees colder. I'm 1,000% wearing a jacket. That's not hyperbole.
Right now,
51.
That's fine. That's a good.
And
day.
It's two over there. No, it's one.
I ran errands before we did this. I wore shorts. It's not that cold.
You're like the weird kid at the playground that wears shorts and tells everyone that it's not cold outside and it's freezing.
It's Indiana, man. 50, you're going to see people in shorts.
Terrible.
The Pacers play the Suns tonight. Suns
by 100.
I do think the Suns will be favored. The Pacers are just not playing well. They finally had a game where they could score, but the Suns are actually decent. They have a good net rating. Their defense is interesting. I think that if the Pacers can score like they did against the Jazz, they'll have a chance. But guess what?
It's gonna be tough to score on this Suns team, man. I'm not saying the Suns the Suns are on they're like 8th in offensive efficiency right now. I think it's 11th in the half court. They're like top 7 in half court offense. I don't know how much of that is real. There's not that many creative shot makers on this team, and they're one Devin Booker hamstring yearly pulled away from going down to the depths of the NBA, but it's going to be really hard to score on them. This team is really good defensively. They're going to push people around. I don't know if they're going to score a lot of points, but they're going to win a lot of games 105-97 because that's just what they are. So, yeah.
You're forgetting something. Every Pacers Suns game is weird. Last year, the bench mob in Phoenix, McConnell went crazy. And then in Indy, the Obi Toppin buzzer beater when Booker scored 60 million points. That is my only prediction for the game, is it's going to be weird.
Is that Obi Toppin's going to have, or Devin Booker's going to have 60 million points. TJ McConnell's going to have a homecoming game, and the Suns lose.
Oh, yes. I always forget about that. In my head, he's all
U of A guy.
Duquesne. Oh, yeah. He went to Arizona for a few years.
Yeah.
I just forget somehow.
U of A guy, dude. U of A. I mean, I'm an ASU guy. I was a U of A guy growing up, so I remember watching TJ McConnell. Freaking awesome. But now we got our own TJ McConnell, Colin Gillespie. And I'm not just saying that because he's a short white guy that does all the scrappy things. I'm definitely saying that. Definitely saying that.
Every team thinks that TJ McConnell only does it to them. I think Suns fans are in the top 5 of being close to right. So many other teams I'm like, shut up. He's just good. But the Suns, he actually has a
because everything bad happens here. I just don't complain about it like everyone else.
Last year, we will see. Ben, this was wonderful. I know that you don't need to use this for your show because these are not topics Suns fans presently care about. But if people are interested in the Phoenix Suns and Grayson Allen hitting a billion threes and Dylan Brooks defending his butt off and Colin Gillespie's playing really well and Kaman Malawach is playing about as much as you and I right now, where can people listen to the things you say about the Phoenix Suns?
Locked On Suns. You guys can always check that out. Part of the beautiful #1 sports podcasting network on planet Earth. I haven't checked on Mars, but on Earth, we're still #1. And listen, if you just want to hear me yap about all things Arizona sports, I run my own show, Ben Garcia Show, in the mornings at what is it now? 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my own show at Ben Garcia Show. And if you want to come yell at me, I actually prefer you did do that. If I made any Pacers fans mad, you could find me on social media at Ben Garcia Show and tell me why you hate me. I think it's hilarious. My wife doesn't.
You just did that. I've never been to Phoenix. I can't say I hate or don't hate it, but the stupid things you guys do with the time of day makes me so mad. Why?
We don't know. What you mean? We just do nothing? We just stay on our own time? Yeah,
I think everybody to be clear, in an ideal world, everybody would do nothing. But if everybody else is doing something, do the same something.
So you agree? So you agree that we're doing the right thing?
Indiana used to do that. Did you know that?
Yeah, and then you guys decided to be stupid. And I'm not saying
that. And I'm not saying everyone in Indiana
is
more sense to do it.
And just so we're clear, I'm not saying everyone in Indiana is stupid that follows this rule. I want to incorporate everyone outside of Arizona, and I think Hawaii, who's on their own time,
Hawaii, yes,
is stupid. There's no reason to set back your clocks. Just get up like an adult in the morning, like we do. Like, it's annoying for me because I'll have guests on my personal show or Locked On Suns, and like with you, I'm like, oh hey, can we do 1 Eastern Standard Time? Like, wait, is that 10 or is that 11 now? I'm like, oh, because these guys move their clocks back because Tony East is farming right now, I guess.
And you asked the classic question because Indiana is on the edge. So some parts of Indiana are Central Time and some parts of Indiana are Eastern Time.
That's so stupid. So it's just
my hottest take that we'll not talk about on this podcast is there should just not be time zones at all. I look forward to someday bringing
it's a hot take. That's a hot take. That's a hot
they're pointless. I'm not going to get into that right now. Tomorrow I will
take that. Someone needs to take that take off the stove. But anyways, continue.
Hotter than Phoenix, that take. Okay, I'll be talking Pacers Suns on Locked On Pacers tomorrow. I presume you'll be doing the same on Locked On Suns. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We'll see ya very soon.